So hi everyone, I'm Lucy Townsley and I'm an acupuncturist and a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner, and I really specialize with women, so helping women who are trying for a baby, who are going through pregnancy and have had their baby, because sometimes that element of the stage in your life gets quite neglected. Also, I help women with perimenopause and menopause. And today I am joined, I forgot to say this as well, please subscribe to the channel because I have some amazing speakers coming up. But today I'm joined by Jackie Grant, and she's an amazing health coach and she's a personal trainer, and she really specializes in middle-aged women, which is my age, 50-year-old women who have suddenly gained weight and don't know why. And this is something that's happened to me as well. So I am so glad that you're here, Jackie, and I'm really interested to hear how you can help us, including myself. So thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me, Lucy. Thanks for having me.
So tell me a little bit about how you help, say, the likes of me, who've been eating what she liked for the last 20 odd years and suddenly have gained this extra stone. Well, I've gained a stone anyway, and other women gain more. Luckily, it's just a stone for me. But how would I go about trying to get rid of it with all these, like bombardment of so much information out there of different diets?
There is just, it's so true, Lucy. It's, I always say it as everyone needs to become their own food detective, and find what works for them. Because, okay, you could go on to keto, you could do fasting, and those things could work for you, But what I always say to people is that they need to just pull back the curtain and think about, okay, we're not 20, we're not 30, we're not 40, okay? We're coming into our 50s maybe. And even every decade, we need to be thinking about how differently we kind of eat. So the first thing is to look at just taking out the processed stuff and trying to eat more whole foods is a beginner point. And look at your hydration, because that is, sometimes what we find, especially, when the hormones are going all over the place, is that we might need a bit more hydration as well. And you might be thinking, oh, I've got cravings for stuff. I've got cravings for sweet tooth stuff, which does happen. I've found it myself. Is it water? Am I hydrated? Am I dehydrated? Making sure that you look at your urine, and I could go on and on and on, Lucy.
How do you know? I know, it's really interesting. So for me, a few things, right? So you often hear processed food, eat whole food, but I always often ladies ask me, what is processed food? That's a question. I know it sounds a really kind of easy question to ask, but some of us don't really know. Well, we know some of it, but not all of it. So what is processed food? What should we be avoiding?
Well, anything in a package, really. And I mean, I know you can get vegetables in a package, but you should try and get it loose as much as possible if you can, rather than getting it in a packet. But anything in a package, anything that is not like, if you can't dig it, kill it, don't eat it.
Fair enough. That's really great advice. I know, but sometimes we get lost with those, those diet foods, ready-made diet foods, because they're convenient and easy to eat. That's, and it's being sold to us that it's convenient and healthy. So you're saying it's not, which is true. I know that.
Yeah, exactly. Which, actually it'll probably have high sugar, high salt, and something in it to make it last longer. And all those things are, just kind of going to impact on your body, and not in a great way, but basically.
Yeah. And hydration, that's something else. How do you know if you're dehydrated? Like, what are your signs? Is there signs?
Urine. Looking at your urine. Really, you want your urine pretty clear. You don't want it dark yellow. You want it as clear as you can get, really, and that will make you know that you're hydrated, really.
Okay, so just like the color of your urine is a real indicator. And is that the only real one? Is there other ones there that we could go by, or is that it, the urine?
Well, I mean, I would say that is one key thing that you can see.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is about like actually, if you're hungry, and when was the last time that you ate? Was it 2 to 3 hours ago? Yeah. And sometimes then you're going to think, oh, you know what, I fancy eating something else. Yeah. Instead, stop, drink 2 glasses of water, and then give it 20 minutes and then think, am I still hungry? Because sometimes it's just that you're dehydrated.
Yeah, that's a really good tip, actually, because that would happen to me quite a lot. I'd eat breakfast, and then particularly in the morning time, a few hours later, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so hungry. And I'd be like, I could be with a patient, all I could be sometimes thinking about, what am I going to eat for lunch? As I'm doing some moxa or something on them, it's kind of in my head.
Yeah.
So probably is more likely dehydration.
Yeah.
And so another problem that people have is that they say they don't like water. What can you?
Yes, so you can put limes, lemon, strawberries. Do you know what I mean? You can actually make, I used to make this one, which is really, really good. It's a really good hydrator, is like putting in melon. So put in melon, get a jug, just put melon in, you can put lemon in, you can put mint in, and just leave the jug in the fridge and drink that throughout the day.
I mix it with water. So you put it in the lemon.
Water. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot about the water. Yeah, mix it with water.
Add in your water.
Yeah, don't forget the water, ladies.
That's a really good one, actually. And is it just any lemon? Sorry, any melon, not lemon. Any melon.
You know, what are they called? The red one, the red melon. What is it called again? Like just the normal melon, the one that's red with the green bit. Do you know what I mean? Rather than gala, I can't even think what the other one's called now. Brain fog.
Yeah, that's a big thing that comes into us as brain fog.
Yeah.
And is there any foods that can help with brain fog? Is there any certain things that you can eat that might be able to help with that?
I would say, right, that the best thing to help with brain fog is actually, actually doing word games, making sure that you're keeping your brain working. Do you know what I mean? But also in terms of brain food, it's just making sure that you're eating as healthy as possible and a wide range of things. So, we're told that in a week you're meant to eat 30 different vegetables. And I know that's quite hard for some people to think about, because it's like, oh my God, I'll be going shopping every day. Exactly. But it should be really rainbow and very colourful in terms of the vegetables and the fruit that you have throughout the week. So, the more colour you have, the more your taste buds are going to go, the more you're going to feel like, oh, this is really nice to eat. So, yeah.
So I suffer really badly from cravings, right? I've such a sweet tooth. So my thing, I've stopped it now in the evening time, and that took a lot of willpower and to break the habit of eating biscuits in the nighttime. They'd be in the cupboard going, eat me. I'd have one, and then the next thing, the packet would be gone. So it took ages, and I'm really strict about not eating after 7 in the evening, and that I think has really helped me a lot. But what, like cravings, that's like the sweet tooth, it's a killer. Or even savory cravings, whatever your craving is, what can you do about them?
Definitely. I mean, first, not have it in the house.
It's true. That's a bit that's true. Don't go down that aisle in the supermarket.
Yeah, exactly. Don't have it there. The second thing is cinnamon is really good. So, you can get the cinnamon sticks. You can put them in your tea.
In a cup of tea?
Yeah, in a cup of tea. And that, so you just have preferably a herbal tea of some sort rather than a cup of normal tea. Cinnamon sticks are, it gives that little sweetness, and it can take away cravings. Plus, if you like it, I don't like it, licorice is really good as well, in terms of helping with cravings.
Licorice, not like the stuff that you can buy in the sweet shops, but licorice as in the proper licorice root.
Proper, yeah.
Where can you get that from? Can you just buy
it? Health food shops normally have it. I'm sure Amazon's got it. Amazon has everything.
That is so true. Amazon does. Can you just add a piece into your cup of tea again, the licorice?
No, you can just eat that. You can chew that.
It.
Yeah. And that can, it's a bit bitter. I mean, I don't like it. It's not my favorite.
Oh my God, you're so funny. I love licorice, but you know the way, and another one that's really good is marshmallows. And I remember my partner actually getting a bag of marshmallows, and he was like, well, marshmallows are really good for you. And then he read the ingredients on the packet of like sweet marshmallows, and he was like, maybe not. Because it was just like anything with sucrose and
fructose and fructose, anything with an OSE, forget about it.
Why would you, like, again, for people that don't know this, explain what the OSE is?
So it's everything is anything that has sugar, a high sugar content is OSE. It normally ends with an OSE, and basically it impacts on your blood sugar levels. So what you don't want is like a consistent roller coaster all day with your blood sugar. What you want is a nice balance of your blood sugar levels, you know. So it's also with sugar, it increases the inflammation in your body. So sometimes people are saying, oh, you know, they feel bloated, or they feel like their body feels like a bit more like they have aches and joint pains and stuff like that. And that's normally because of the high sugar content that they've been. And if they pull back with that, they can sometimes find that the aches and everything won't be there anymore. So anything with OSE is kind of inflammation based.
Really? I didn't know that now. So like if you're eating too much sugar, it can have an effect on your joint health.
Yes.
Everything. That's quite a lot, isn't it? Because, you know, as we age, joint pain is a major problem for quite a lot of ladies. Hips, knee,
shoulder.
Often is. Often I would see quite a lot of clients who have hip pain and shoulder pain, actually, in their ladies in their kind of late 40s, early 50s and onwards. And the diet, obviously we talk about diet, but this is the area of expertise. And sugar I didn't realize sugar played such a massive role in this.
It does. And I mean, I know that like a lot of people like go, oh, but the thing is, I always say that it's about 80-20, right? You know, 80% be wonderful and do everything as best you can, and 20% of the time, especially if you're if you want to lose weight, obviously you want to do 100% in the start, but what you want to be going into is maintaining an 80-20 rule.
I know that's really good advice. That's something I'd say as well, 80-20, because if you can be 80% good and 20% bad, because it's too hard to be perfect all the time, especially, you know, sometimes you just want to come in and have a glass of wine or a few squares of chocolate.
And we shouldn't see it as something bad as well. We should see it as like, actually, I'm thinking about my whole health. So the other half is the 20% is like me giving myself treats or me giving myself some pleasure, because it is pleasure, isn't it? You know, because if we think of it as a bad thing, then it's more likely our bad what's our bad behavior starts coming out. We just want to do all the bad.
Yeah, it's true. It's actually very true, isn't it? It is very true.
You know what I mean? Like, so there's the one end of like, I'm nourishing myself, I'm you know, giving myself that nourishment. You know, you would have, if you have a nourishment list, you probably like put things like massage and relaxing bath, and then like you've got your bad behavior list, which will probably be the glass of wine and stuff like that. But what we want to do is just put it as, it's a pleasure that, you know, I don't want to do as often as maybe another type of pleasure.
That's really a good idea. You could kind of make a list of your 80% good things and your 20% bad things and make sure that they're balanced out correctly.
Yeah.
Because then that would give you an idea of where you need to, you know, add more to probably that 20% list is probably quite high at the moment, I would think. For quite a lot of us, myself included.
And sometimes it's, you know, it is something that needs to be nourished while you turn towards that other list. Do you see what I mean? It is like something else in some area of your life needs to be nourished while you want to go, right, I'm going to drink a glass of wine every night. Actually, something else that you need to be thinking about. What could that be? Do you see what I mean? It's like actually ask yourself, what's going on for me right now?
That I need to have that glass of wine to relax.
Yeah, exactly. What else could I have done? I could have gone and had an Epsom salt bath with some lavender in it and like chilled out.
So it's alternatives to the glass of wine, essentially, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Because it's not, you know, we know like you're going to go out with your friends and stuff like that. And that's going to be better to have a night out with your friends, having a few drinks, rather than sitting in your house every evening having one bottle of wine to yourself or with you and your partner.
Well, quite a lot of I know a client of mine, she fell into that trap. She was coming in and she was having a glass of wine, and suddenly it was 2 glasses, and then suddenly it became a bottle every night. She gained 3 stone and couldn't understand why this had happened to her. And it was like when we went through her lifestyle, what she was doing, she actually didn't realize that she was doing it. It just became such a thing that she did every day.
A habit,
a habit that she had to work really hard to break the habit. And she's lost 1 stone in weight just by cutting down on wine, because wine is really loaded with sugar.
It's got so much sugar in it. Totally.
Now, don't get me wrong, I like a glass of wine, you know, but it is definitely full of sugar. 100%.
I can't drink wine anymore. I mean, that just gives me a hot flush. If I drink wine, that's it. Do you see what I mean? So I just, I just don't bother with it.
I know, and that is true. Actually, it can do that. It can give you hot flushes because of the heating element of wine that comes from Chinese medicine, because it's a warming and you're adding heat onto heat.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what else did you do to help reduce your hot flushes?
So you know what I do is there's a couple of things I do. There's a nutrition a supplement that I use, and that I found I know when I've stopped taking it, my hot flashes have gone like crazy. But when I'm taking this supplement, and it's got nitric oxidant in it, so it's a pro-arginine in it, and it increases the blood flow in the body. So I found that has been really useful with my hot flashes, but not only that, also my libido as well. Do you know what I mean? Because that reduced. So that's been good. And also flax seeds. So 3 to 5 tablespoons of flax seeds a day has been really useful in my smoothies.
Yeah, they're brilliant. Flax seeds are excellent, aren't they? They really are hugely full of phytoestrogens. They're one of the best.
Exactly.
That you can take. They're hugely beneficial. And the libido, that's something else that really impacts women in their late 40s, early 50s. Well, you know, we're just talking about, you know, this age group of women now, but it can affect all women. But I suppose if you're not sleeping well and you are reaching for the sugary snacks to give you energy throughout the day, and then you get in the evening, the last thing that is in your brain is to, you know, have a sex life. It just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen, does it? It just really doesn't happen. So with those few changes in your diet and wondering, you know, like caring for yourself in a different way other than going for the sugary snacks or the wine can really help you. Yeah,
and definitely having a sleep routine, because sleep can impact on your brain as well. You know, like we were talking about earlier, what can support not having the brain fog. If you're not getting enough sleep, then obviously your brain's not going to be operating effectively. So, you know, you really need to kind of focus on having a good sleep routine, you know, a power down hour before you're going to bed, so that you go, right, okay, it's 9 o'clock now, turn the lights down low, start reading a book, get your body into that routine of, you know, doing the same time every night, you know, having that relaxing bath, making sure your room temperature is nice and cool, you know, all those kind of things. And, you know, not being on the computer and the phone and having the blue light. So, you know, all those things. It's just like, you know, coming up with your own kind of power down hour and making sure that you're ready for bed, and, you know, doing everything that you can to make sure that you're getting a good night's sleep.
It's so true, because often I think just life, the way it is now, we're having our children much later in life. So we have you know, we're not having our first child maybe until we're in our 30s, or even, and then the next, you know, 35, some much later, between 35 and 40. So you're heading into menopause as your kids are going into their teenage years. And that can be very stressful in itself.
God, I'm so glad I had my son younger. Seriously, I feel for people right now.
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? It is tough with teenagers, because they're going through their hormonal changes and you're at the other end of it going through your hormonal changes. But I think menopause is a really gorgeous life phase that you go through, you know, women go through. It's not shameful, it's not embarrassing. Well, it shouldn't be embarrassing. It just should be a process that we all embrace, because you know, we've made it to our 50s, and I think that's a powerful thing to get to this age. You know, you've done a lot of living and you know a lot of stuff, whatever it is, whatever you've done in your life, you know a lot about it. It's really important. Absolutely.
I know it is, and I wish so many people would embrace that a bit more. It's funny because I've in a few Facebook groups, and I put last week, tell me one thing that's been positive about your menopausal transition. Oh my God, there was hardly anything that was put down that was positive. Like, seriously, it was, you know, mainly like I feel like I should just read them out. Because I'm just like, no. You know, I think someone said one positive thing was that she doesn't have any periods. Yeah. All right. My experience is that it sucks. The only positive I can think of is that I no longer bleed like a stuck pig. Other than that, I have nothing. Just saying how I'm feeling at the moment. If I think of anything else, I'll comment later. Someone said this, I have no symptoms, lots of energy, no weight gain, sleep well, no pain, libido is healthy, and I've made a 180 lifestyle change. So yeah.
Do you know, it is true though, because menopause, like in certain communities and cultures and countries, they just go through it no problem. They don't even, you know, it just happens, and it's just like the next phase of their life. The period just stops and that's it. They're in menopause. Whereas I think in Western worlds, no, we struggle more. But I think stress has a huge factor on it, and
definitely
our lifestyles, you know, we're working, most of us work, and
working, rushing about, juggling hundreds of things.
There's so many things, and as you said, if you break it down in your 80-20 list, you know, what do you have to be? You need to start being much nicer to yourself. It's kind of a theme that goes a lot through it. We put ourselves at the bottom of the list to be looked after, don't we?
Exactly.
And we should be at the top, because being at the top has that massive ripple effect throughout your whole life.
Exactly. And an effect on everyone else. Yeah. Because what you got to remember is that you're a mom, you're a sister, you're an auntie, you're a gran, you're a whatever. Do you know what I mean? Because some people are grandmas already. Do you see what I mean? So it's there's loads to be doing at, you know, at that stage in your life, and stress is a big factor, like you say, and it's really important to have that self-care. And I think, you know, we kind of, like you say, in the Western world haven't grown up with that thing about looking after ourselves. We look after everyone else, you know, as women all the time. That's what we do. We look after everyone else, whether it's our husband, our partners, our sons, our daughters, you know, we're just looking after all the time. And sometimes ourself comes to the bottom of the list, but we got to say 100%, you know, even if you take an hour a day just for yourself, that's all it takes, you know. I can feel the shock horror in people listening to this now about the fact that you have to take an hour to yourself every day. Like a whole hour. They give themselves 5 minutes to eat lunch. I know. But that's the thing as well, isn't it? It's like you're not mindfully eating because you're probably just doing 10 things at the same time as you're eating, which is another thing that impacts on your digestion and impacts on your, you know, your weight loss, because you're not mindfully eating. So, you know, there's so many factors that come into play.
And I think also we don't actually give ourselves food, making food. Now, I'm not massive about, I'm not a great cook or anything, but making food is like, I'm just like, oh, it's a torture. But I think we have to, now for some women, they love cooking. And I think if I had maybe the time to do it, but I don't have the interest. So I think it's about finding ways to get that interest there, and to recognize the good that by making the food that it's going to do you good. And allowing yourself time to cook it, sit down and eat it.
Exactly.
That's
totally is.
So you do personal training as well. Tell me a little bit about that.
So I do personal training. So I train like mainly women, and a lot of the clients that come to me is either that they've not done any training for a long time since school, or they really didn't like it doing any exercise.
I know, brave women to start that as well. Making that first step is hard.
Exactly. So and
embarrassing.
And the thing is, it's not a thing. I always say, right, whenever you start, that's all good. Do you know what I mean? You've made that decision, you've decided to go through and follow through, basically. And yet, so a lot of the people, either they want to lose weight or they want to build their strength and fitness and health, really. So generally what I do is people get at the start, we do a fitness assessment to see where they're at, so that we know that, in 4 to 6 weeks time, when I do a review, we can see that there's been some change, not just in their weight and measurements, but also in their strength, their cardio output, and what success that they've seen as well, because some people, their energy levels go up, their mental clarity gets better, just based on just including some exercise into their week.
And do you think, because obviously you're in the menopausal phase as well, do you think by you exercising has helped you, sorry, I can't say the word, transition through menopause a little bit easier?
I think so. I think that the fact that I'm doing strength training is, and I mean, that's the most important thing to do if you are, strength training, and then maybe HIIT. Whenever I say HIIT, people go, HIIT. No.
I know.
Yes, HIIT doesn't have to be long, what I always say. But strength training is going to help in terms of our loss of muscle mass. We lose 3 to 5% every decade. And so, and as we transition, we lose more. So what we want to be doing is making sure that we're building up that muscle mass. So sarcopenia is the word that's used in terms of muscle mass, but as long as you get your diet right, you're not on any ACAs or steroids, because that impacts on your muscle mass as well, smoking cigarettes, making sure you've got good vitamin D intake, to make sure that your that loss is as less as it can be, basically.
Oh wow, you've given us some great advice there, really brilliant advice, so to go on with. And if anyone wants to contact you for you to be their personal trainer, or about nutrition, how will they contact you? So
I'm on Facebook, Jackie Grant, Hormone Health and Fitness Coach. So you can find me there, or I'm on Instagram, Jackie Grant E17 on Instagram.
I'll share all these links as well.
Yeah, that's cool. So Jackie Grant E17, and I've got a Facebook group as well called Balancing Women's Hormones for Weight Loss.
That's actually, I must talk to you a little bit about that actually before you go. What hormones obviously is a big thing that gets disrupted in menopause. What advice, or what if I came to you for that, what would you say to me?
Sorry, do you want to say that again?
Yeah. To help me, but obviously I'm in menopause, so how would you help me balance my hormones?
Okay, how would I help you balance your hormones? So, really what we'd start about is finding out what hormones are out of balance first. If you're in peri to post-menopause, then obviously, we know which ones are the key factors. So what I'd be doing is really focusing on trying to balance your insulin levels, also your cortisol levels, because those are the two factors that are going to impact on your weight gain. Yeah, so that's what I want to start to try and reduce your stress and reduce your blood sugar management. So it would be around blood sugar management. And that's how I'd start off working with you, really. But of course, we always work with the individual where they're at.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Well, I'd love to talk to you again about hormone health. Definitely. You've been an inspiring speaker here, and I'm really, really glad that you came on and spoke on this podcast. Thank you so much. And also, if you are having trouble with your menopause, you're more than welcome to join me on my menopause course. I'll add the link there as well. And thanks so much, Jackie. Thank you.
Thank you, Lucy.